This is Activity 5.3 on page 170 using the Report Wizard. We have our database My Cabin Rentals Reports open with no objects open. The customer's payment report is a bit more complicated than the contractor's report. It will incorporate fields from 4 related tables and will group payments by customer. To facilitate creation of this more complicated design, you will use the Report Wizard to assist you in the process. So we're going to use our Report Wizard by going up to the Create tab of our ribbon, and in our Reports command group, select Report Wizard. This is going to open up our Wizard dialog box. And from our first screen, we want to select the table or query that we're going to be pulling the fields from. So first, we want to select Table Customers. And from this table, we're going to pull the first name of the customer, select that and hit the single arrow, and then the customer last name as well. Now we're going to change our Tables Queries dropdown, and we're going to switch to Table Cabins. And from this particular table, we want the fields let's see. Oh, we just want cabin name. So that second field, hit the single arrow and bring that over. And next we're going to change this to table bookings. And from this table, we want the booking start date. Bring that over. We want booking nights. Bring that over. And we also want the total cost. Select that and bring that over. Okay, so we have all the fields we want from those 3 tables. We're going to hit our next button. And now we want to group the data in the report. So this is how the data would be laid out if it was grouped by customer. It would have the customer first name, customer last name, and then it would have the cabin name, booking start date, booking nights, and then the total cost. So this suggested configuration is to provide a separate row for each customer. Under each customer will be a list of all the bookings for that customer. Okay, so we're going to switch to by bookings and look at how the data would be laid out if organized this way. This would provide a separate row for each booking showing the customer and cabin names within each row. And if we were to organize it by cabins, it would have the cabin name and then the customer first name, last name, start date, number of nights, and then the total cost. So we're going to keep it by customers. Okay, so it's going to be grouped by customers and it will show all their bookings underneath the customer name. We're going to click Next from here. Do you want to add any grouping levels to this? We're going to keep it as is and hit Next again. And here we can specify how we want our report to be sorted. So in the first drop-down list, we're going to select the booking start date. We want to keep that in ascending order. So bookings listed beneath each customer name will be sorted by start date of the rental. All right, we can click Next, and it's going to ask to select the layout of the report. We want the stepped layout and in portrait mode for our pages, and adjust the field width so all fields fit on one page. Make sure that is checked off. Click Next from here, and it's going to prompt us to name our report. We're going to name this RPT Customers Bookings, and we can hit Finish. So it's going to create our report for us and give us a preview. So this signifies that some of the columns information here is too wide for how it's set. Some are too wide and some are too narrow. So this particular one is too narrow. So some layout adjustments we're going to need to make. The start date values are shown as these pound signs or hashtags, whatever your generation calls them, but that was the start date column. So this particular row is way too narrow to show the information. And you can see the first name and last name, there's a lot of empty space here. The total cost is too narrow. Booking nights has a lot of empty space here. So we definitely have to play with the layout on this one. So we will leave these open for our next activity.